I want to talk about just the fight of the group down the stretch. I challenged our team at halftime just to fight, and they responded. And so just really proud of this group and how we're building and the chemistry that we're building and their growth from day to day, game to game. And again, it's not the outcome that we wanted, because every game that we play, we want to win. But understanding as a coach, as their coach sitting in this seat, there's a process. And I know, I know we're all so used to instant by a click of the button, but it doesn't work that way. And we know every day what we emphasize and how hard they have been working day in and day out. And so if you're into the stock market, right, you look at trends. And we talk about trending and what we're doing as a team. 8 new players, different situations, different adversities, but it's just next woman up, and they're learning how to fight, they're learning how to compete, and they're learning how to play together. And it's January, right? And so I'm proud of how hard we fought. There was no quit in this group. Obviously, we'll go back and we'll talk about each quarter, especially that second quarter. We had a really good start, but it's moments, right? It's defensive assignments. It's knowing, where number 3 is. It's how we were guarding the post. And, it's a half an inch, right? We talked about a half an inch. You shove them off, you're on time in the trap. Now the rotations are better. But that's teaching and making sure they understand that. And, 18 points for Vonleh in the first half. She finishes with 20. So what that showed me was at halftime, when we talked about the adjustments, they made them. And so that is a small victory. And the more you can stack small victories, you get to the big victory. But I am super proud of, obviously, Ice, who's sitting next to me, but there are so many other players we talked about. Jaden Simmons had a tough assignment today on Sherrod, and she stepped up. Trayana Chris coming off of, what she went through in the last game, and she said, Coach, I'm going to play. We're going to figure it out. And then Isadora, just her leadership. Here's someone who's battled with injuries, a super senior, if you will, but she leads this team in ways that so many of you all don't see. So I'm just proud of how this group is growing, how the culture is building, and to fight to the finish with the number 5th team in the country. I'm super proud of our effort.
For Jalyn, you scored 35 points, which is your new career high, and I think I get it right, which is the most scored by Sun Devil in program history. How much
since 2000. Since 2000, I believe.
This century
record is 44 points.
How much does this accomplishment mean to you?
It's a blessing, but I feel like I've worked for it. So every day I'm training, every day we're preparing. My coach is preparing me to be put in those positions. So just being ready to do what I'm told to do and just to help the team in any way possible, that's what I'm going to do. So it's a blessing for sure.
And then, Coach, I know you mentioned Izzy, but obviously getting her back in the lineup, working her in. What have you, just seen for her? How do you feel that she's gelling with the rest of the team?
Well, just her impact. Just her leadership. That's the biggest thing. And Izzy's smart. We call her our little Magic Johnson, right? She's so crafty with the ball, but she brings the team together. Almost like another floor general out there on the court. But the more she can just sustain that effort, right? We'll go 4 minutes, we'll go 7 minutes, we'll go 10 minutes. Just having her out there is so valuable to our team, the organization of our team, the toughness of our team, and just the poise of our team, especially with a very young group.
And you mentioned the poise, but obviously bouncing back from, the second quarter. And I know as a coach, you say if you could put your finger on it, you wouldn't have a quarter like that. But what are you, when you see a quarter like that, what's the tough part about making adjustments in that aspect?
Well, I think you just, when we talked about it at halftime, we showed them certain clips. We showed them things that were just too easy. Transition was just too easy. We were just letting the ball go inside without ball pressure and without doing the things that we had talked about. So the biggest thing, though, with the group is you're teaching. And you're saying, okay, one, you're letting them know, hey, we're better than this. But this is the result of us not following Scout to a T, having that letdown, whether it was from substitution, whether it was just, hey, I'm focusing on the foul, it's next play mentality, you get a negative, you get a positive, all it is it's just training the mind to reset quicker. And then whatever adjustments need to be made, we need to make them. But, they also hold themselves accountable too. They know, they're talking about it before I even walk in at halftime, the things that we need to take care of and the things we need to improve upon. But we just can't have those lulls. Whether it's because of a foul call, if it's because, I miss a shot, you just have to reset quicker and lock in. But you see that sometimes with a new group or a young group because they're just holding on to whatever happened instead of, okay, next play. But that's where you continue to grow through teaching, through reps, through playing. And so that's why I was so proud of what we talked about and showed at halftime, that you could see the adjustment and the difference going into the third.
Jalyn, can you kind of talk about what it was like out there? You're down by 28, I think, is how much you were down by, and just to keep playing
Piece by
and
piece.
chip away at that lead. And how do you kind of stay focused on doing the job and not letting the game get away from you?
Me personally, I don't worry about the score. I take it play by play. There's no 28 point shot. So just understanding like time and score, gotta get a stop. Okay, next possession, what are we gonna do on offense? And to keep poise. So just don't stress, like take your time and we'll get it back on the back end. So just to trust my teammates and my coach.
Do you look at that as a moral victory? I mean, this is the number 5 team in the country that beat the reigning national champion. So how much do you look at that and can tell your teammates moral victories can be good?
Yes, 100%. I mean, for this to be the number 5 team in the country, we came out as a team that didn't do too well last year. We're improving every day, and just to see the growth it's honestly cool to watch. And when you're involved in it as well with a good coach, like it's not as hard as you think it is. So just for us to stay together and continue to build week by week, like I'm excited.
For the coach, when it comes to consistencies, which areas are improving and which need more work?
Well, I think for us, we got off to a good start, right? And we've been getting off to a good start, better start. I think areas of improvement are just recognizing defensive assignments. We have some breakdowns that we just can't afford. And to Ice's point, it's time and score. It's in pivotal parts of the game where you have to get that stop, or you have to get that free throw rebound. So those are the areas, and we call them winning plays, right? These are the ones that you go back as a coach and you look at and you're like, God, if we could have got that stop, if we could have got that, made that shot, or one more pass. So very technical things when you break down the game. But what I love is just how we're gelling together, right? I think we're scoring well in transition. We talked about getting to the free throw line and being very aggressive. We got to the free throw line 30 times, right? Our goal is 80% or better, right? We were a little shy of our goal. But those are the areas in coaching when they come out and they do it, and the aha moments when they see it happen, right, and have the success. But it's just sustaining that effort for 40 plus minutes. We've shown 30, we've shown 20, we've shown 39, right? But we have to have that consistency from the start to the final buzzer, and we cannot let up, and we can't have slippage no matter who's in the game.
As you mentioned the slippage, in the first half, the Sun Devils had 10 turnovers, and in the second half, they took better care of the ball and they just had 3 turnovers. Explain what the difference when it comes to taking better care of the ball and especially moving forward.
Well, you just have to understand how they play defense, right? And certain players, Sherrod runs lanes, and we know that. So you got to be more intentional of walking your player down, making it hard, coming to meet every pass. Certain players are very handsy and pesky, trying to turn you over, trying to speed you up. And so again, once we settled down, once we kind of created the tempo in which we wanted to play with and value the possessions, we took care of the ball.